Hey,
We
Pete.
will be in
Okay.
attendance. Hey, Pete.
How are
Yes.
we tonight?
Pleasantly reclined right now.
How is the nightlife?
Not exciting, but my computer is being monitored.
Jim Carrey's great. I keep him in a shiny box all the time.
Oh God.
James, where art thou?
Oh, wait on him. I'm just gonna grab a beverage of some description.
Okay, that's a good point. That is a good point.
Well, how's Laura doing?
Yeah, she's good. She's taking a stab at an Icelandic person, and probably there's a 4 to 5 chance they're sheep.
That sounds about right.
So you got to watch out for them. Talon hand ladies of the coastal road. Oh,
How do I get armadillos for hands?
You got to be born in
you
Iceland.
got to knit Icelandic sweaters. That's the place.
Iceland is not a place. Sorry I'm late, boys.
You got a towel over your shoulder there, Ben?
I do. I have shoulder pain.
Oh, Ben, I thought you were serious about it being some sort of scotch drinkers thing where you have to wipe your mouth with your fancy shoulder towel.
Oh, no, not at all.
Jesus.
Sorry, no. Didn't mean to throw you for a loop there. No,
No,
that's
I
not
love
a thing.
that. Nice shoulder towel. Yes.
Yep. All right. Well, are you fellows ready? We pick up again with the adventurers following Rolen in the forest.
What do you think, Artemis? Is this some kind of magic, this strange fog?
This area is suffused with the stuff. Magic and fog.
Well, go ahead then, Rolen.
Are we ready to proceed? Roland will roll his eyeballs and proceed into the fog, leading with his light bite.
A soft, damp mist alights on all of the party members' cheeks as they pass into this fog. And as they continue to walk forward, they emerge back into the forest, seemingly from the road from Contatia.
It's a
Or space
leckin'
station.
magical riddle of some kind. What do you reckon, Roland? Well, can you navigate your way through this strange magical mist?
If we Coco said, she said, elven hands.
What? Artemis gets this shocked look, and then he looks around.
Well, perhaps this might help. Roland will dig into his pack and pull out the mushrooms,
The spore.
the spore. This will help us transcend into the ethereal.
Artemis is worriedly looking at Roland. The thoughts that are running through his mind right now is you've gone into the scary woods and now the ranger is suggesting we go on a drug trip with each other. Something about never going to a second location with a hippie.
You know me, Roland. I'll gladly eat any strange mushroom you put in me hands.
Bolo and Roland have put this truly foul and revolting tasting spore into their mouths, which nigh creates an instantaneous gag and vomit reflex. And there's this kind of blowing wind from the northwest. And as the wind blows by them, they almost hear the faint sound of a voice saying, "Not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet."
Bolo
Do you
chews
hear
on
that?
unheeded. Chewing and casually making his way towards that cool, clear water to wash down the horrifying taste.
Roland,
He's going to maybe rethink his plan.
make a Constitution saving throw, Bolo. Wow. All right. Bolo is feeling just dandy. Totally fine.
Artemis has been going around the edge of the pond, but will track off a little bit to the north there, wandering and looking down in the grass, searching.
Artemis finds himself under a large oak tree, and he sees that there's a demarcated gravel path that leads off to the northwest.
Fellows, another path through the woods. He's going to duck underneath the oak tree, kind of following the edge of the river and stand on the path.
Bolo will follow.
I'll follow as well.
Bolo and Roland in the dimness can see across the stream another page, slightly crumpled, on the pathway.
Roland will skip, and retrieve the page. Here's another one.
We should read it, but if you could give me a few minutes, as a ritual, he's going to cast Detect Magic.
Roland, are you reading that out loud?
Well, first I'll read it in my head. It's almost as though she was gathering for a spell or a... I'm going to check out the path and see if I can determine how recently it's been used.
Do a survival check there. Bolo is hearing voices.
Oh my.
Anywho, Roland is checking the path. He can tell that something's been through the area. At this point, Artemis is completing his setup.
Ilias iferen tuyar, I wilith lim ukiar iar, imirath piar dulus ias, a filig linor der enas.
There is a magical veil all around him that he can see. And the focal point Artemis can see is centered on that large oak by the pond. There is some kind of illusory magic coming from there.
Bolo, there's magic. Artemis beckons him over with his hand. There's something not quite right about that large oak tree behind me. I think we should not try to raise any suspicion, but to get Roland over here.
Bolo will nod and start casually walking towards the direction of the tree. And then when he gets real close, he is going to shout, "Gah!" and grab at the trunk.
Artemis's mouth is agape and his hand is out, but no sounds have come out.
Hearing this roar, Roland will quickly turn and level his bow.
In a frozen moment of suspense, nothing's happening, and then nothing continues to happen.
Shrug. Oh.
It's a tree, Bolo. I don't understand why you had to yell at it.
All right, listen here, tree. If you're some ne'er-do-well, you'd best identify yourself immediately.
Artemis unconsciously fumbling with the compass that he wears around his neck.
It's Bolo. He catches out of the corner of his left eye another scrap.
Why, Roland, another piece of paper. He's hesitant to turn his back on this mysterious tree.
Roland will retrieve the paper. Pythium spore, dried, finely ground. 2 pinches of fey ash. Fresh archaic water, exactly 1 ounce. Combine and bring concoction to a boil. Flash cool, ingest immediately. Here's Coco's recipe.
Artemis is just looking a little bit perplexed. He's leafing through his journal with 2 hands while the mage hand apparates and begins rubbing his chin.
All right.
Do I know what fey ash is?
Sounds to me like it could be the ashes remained from burning a fey creature, but
Well, Roland's half elf. We could burn maybe some of Roland.
the question is which half of him we would burn.
Artemis gets it, thinking about this transitory creature on 4 legs he recently fought, and thinking about it explode into a kind of dust. He puts 2 and 2 together.
The blink dog.
Did Roland collect the dust from the blink dog?
I'm sure one of you did.
Why, Roland, didn't you collect some dust from the first one of those weird beasties we killed? Yeah, back in the silver mine. I distinctly recall you bending over and scooping that strange gook into a bag. I remember thinking, oh, why is Roland doing that?
I'll sit down with my back to the oak tree. I'll go through my pack. Is there indeed a bundle of such dust?
There's a small
Bundle of
pouch.
dust.
There's a small leather pouch bound with cord that
Oh,
maybe Roland forgot about. That
does sound like a
contains.
bundle.
Yeah, I remember thinking, is he bundling the... It's odd. It's weird.
We do have the ingredients in order to concoct this potion.
Yeah, aye, but the real question is, do we have a pot? I got a little jar here, boykies. Shall we go ahead and get down to the bottom of this weird forest?
Artemis tapping his foot impatiently next to you, just like one-handed slings this firebolt. Like he's throwing out a piece of trash as he walks by.
Artemis, please warn me when you're going to do that.
Never.
Bolo would have been prepping everything whilst those boys were building the fire. Do the honors, Roland. You can be the first to take a big old gulp.
You seem to be the one who's very eager to ingest the Pythium.
Don't be
Perhaps
a
you
pussy, Roland. I already had some.
Here we go.
He downs the potion. Bolo Artemis just looking on.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm watching intently.
Although Bolo's keeping the tree in his side vision.
His pupils dilate and he just collapses, completely inert on the ground.
I immediately move over to try and feel for a pulse.
To the best of his knowledge, he doesn't think his traveling companion is dead.
Can I pull back one of his eyelids and look at his eye?
Totally.
Look at this Bolo.
Oh, yeah.
Bolo will put his face right in Roland's face, and will also really roughly jam a couple of his fingers into Roland's other eye.
Just sitting there, you've got one eye open, I've got the other eye.
I'm sorry, Roland.
Where do you reckon he went, Artemis?
As the conversation's ongoing and they're poking and prodding Roland, a tremor passes through the ground from the direction of the small pool just behind them and from the direction of the tree. That oak begins to tremble and creak.
Bolo's immediately snapped over on it. Hand on axe.
Wisps of smoke are now emanating from the foliage of the oak, and all of a sudden it violently uproots itself and begins to lumber and hulk its way towards the party. Roll initiative.
Yes!
Burn it, Artemis! Burn it!
Not illusion, transmutation! It's alive!
Freeze frame on this huge evil-looking oak turning towards Artemis and Bolo and Roland. Roland descends into darkness as consciousness slips rapidly away. He awakens on the ground of the forest. His companions nowhere to be seen. He hears a familiar voice behind him. Interesting to see you here, son.
Father, what of Senair? Is it truly a dead land?
Dying. There is a darkness in the land, it cannot be denied. Ill intentions, corruptness, greed. Tai Lin from the court. It is of he who I speak. I must warn you, son, this realm is transient. There is a focal point you must destroy to enable your progress in this place.
What is it, Father?
He gestures behind him and he kind of moves his fingers, and Roland's vision like zooms in this path rapidly, and he sees this pedestal with a small dark orb sitting atop it. If you can reach it, son, and break it, it will dispel the illusion of this outer forest and will allow you entrance to the inner sanctum.
Thank you, Father.
You must make haste. And as he's speaking, he's fading into transparency.
I will do as you say.
We'll pivot perspective and come back to Roland's body laying on the ground underneath the now writhing branches of this oak tree, and Artemis and Bolo facing off against this evil oak creature.
I burn it.
All right, Bolo's turn.
Bolo will move, pick up Roland.
Bolo swoops over, grabs up his buddy. The oak is swung and followed this movement. It's following after Bolo, and it swings down at him with one of its large branches, clubs Bolo, manages to keep his feet with Roland on his shoulder.
Bloody tree!
Udia! Hurl a firebolt at the tree.
It flies wide. Bolo. There,
He's
Roland.
just turning tail.
The tree lumbers towards his direction, swings down hammer fist style with another limb, embeds its arm in the ground where Bolo was. It'll be Artemis's turn.
Udia! Jesus Christ.
Nice. Yeah, burn it down.
Releasing its firebolt, it flies the tree. Very good. Bolo?
Bolo will stir himself into a frenzied rage dump Rolen heavily on the ground, pull his axe off his belt, and take a double-handed swing.
Yeah, you're going to hit it, Bolo. A hefty chunk of bark and wood
Fantastic.
go inside Roland's perspective.
He's going to start running towards the pedestal and the orb. Run flat out.
A root springs out in his path. Throw me a check there, Roland.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the dream confidence I know and love.
Yeah.
He gets a glimpse behind him. The forest is closing in, vines and branches violently trying to capture him.
He's going to pop up, casting Zephyr Strike.
Before your dad disappeared, did he say fly, you fool?
So he's running at a fever pitch down this path. After one of the last S-bends, it's just a straight shot. There's a bit of a brightness and an opening, and he sprints towards it. He sees a humanoid form, an elven form, but no flesh on the bones. It's all skeletal bones. It draws out a straight-edged blade and points it at Roland.
I do not have my weapons with me, right?
You do not.
Kiss him. You can only defeat him with the power of love.
Power of kid.
Running towards him.
Yeah, Roland does this sweet slide under the blade and kicks out and manages to catch the skeleton's leg.
Kick it in the head.
Yeah, Roland launches a kick towards its head and it wryly smiles and manages to dodge as Roland's boot goes flying by its head. Back to Artemis and Bolo's perspective. Bolo has just taken a chunk out of this tree, angrily creaking again, raises up two of its branches.
Can I throw him this 8 from my portent?
Oh, nice. Thanks, James.
Nice, I love it. Yeah, with the reverberation of Artemis's words, the branches land right on either side of Bolo.
Bolo does a double take on either side of him.
And it'll be Artemis's turn.
Kurupilin!
The magic missiles come out like Robotech rockets. Large gaping holes in the trunk appear. Alrighty, Bolo.
Okay, Bolo's gonna just flex real hard, using second wind to recover 6 hit points. Big swing.
You're gonna hit him.
It's gonna be 15 damage.
Bolo just leans into his axe and like pops this huge wedge out of the bottom of this oak tree, this living oak.
Sick.
The oak topples over backwards, crashes into the forest floor, leaves sprawling about.
Right
Looks
there.
like you had an accident. Thanks, James.
100%.
Sorry, back to Pete and his ghost boxing match. Is it a ghost or a skeleton?
It's a skeleton.
Ghost skeleton.
The skeleton dodges, but as it moves its head, Roland just pop right in the kisser, and its head falls off. In a bit of a clearing, there's that object that he saw in his mind's eye, this pulsing black globe.
Straight to the pedestal. Grab the orb. Smash it.
He just like comes back to his body. He awakes laying on the ground.
That
Suddenly.
tree there, Rolen, we just chopped it to pieces. It tried to kill us while you were having a little nap.
I'll pick up my things and say, this way. And I'll start heading off towards where the pedestal was.
Absolutely.
I like the vision of Roland, come, follow me, and just like fade to black, and the other two are like, wait.
What is happening?
Yeah, but I'll call it there for tonight if you guys don't mind.
Absolutely.
Anyhow, that was a sick session, fellas. Thank you very
Great
much.
game.
I was very ready for that tree to smash the living shit out of me, and Roland, for that matter. Both his prone orbs.
on me while I was passed out.
The tree may very well have smashed Roland's inert body.
Alright, guys, I'll catch you on the flippity flop.
All right, boys.
Bye, guys.
Enjoy yourselves, gentlemen.
All right. Good night.
Bye for now.
Good night.